We have Nick Beaton here as our guest today, comedian. Anything you want to plug on this thing that I can plug for you?
Yeah, I've got a special on YouTube and then just on my social media horse shit.
What's your special called?
Geriatric Millennial. It's on YouTube. Yeah,
that does describe you a lot. You are an old.
Sounds about right.
What are you? An 83 kid?
82.
82.
You're the very end of 82. Yeah.
Okay, so you're definitely in the millennial, and you're definitely geriatric.
Yeah, no, firmly, like as basically as close as you can get to it, right? As the without being a Gen Xer.
Yeah, I think yeah, we're on the border. I'm an 83 kid. I think I'm a millennial too. So yeah, RJ doesn't even know what we're doing today, and I've been flirting with doing this one for a while.
You've been flirting? I'm telling Sarah.
Yeah, she's gonna.
It's fucking over for you, pal.
You know what? If you told her it was a dude, she'd be like, "Yeah, I know." Everywhere I go, I flirt with men. Okay, have you guys ever heard of like this? I know this is like a thing that people talk about often enough in our line of business, where there's that thing where Walken was like Christopher Walken was on a boat where some lady died and like she died under mysterious circumstances. We all hear about that. What do you guys know about that? You guys know anything about that? The lady's name is Natalie Wood. So let's see if you guys...
Natalie Wood. I don't know much more than what you set it up. I've heard about it. I've probably actually heard the story about it, but I have not. It didn't stick in my brain. I was just like, it was like was it the late 70s, early 80s?
Early
type
80s,
of thing?
Yeah, early 80s.
Yeah. And I just know that they were on a boat and she's gone and they've never seen her again. It's just weird.
Okay. Yeah, did you know anything about this, RJ, at all?
Yeah. I knew even less, but I just choose to say that Christopher Walken is a convicted murderer because it's funny.
Can either of you do a Christopher Walken impression? Because that would be fun for this.
I wouldn't bother with me doing it. No,
I'm terrible. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, well, this is one I always wanted to do because I always want to look at it. Here's something I didn't know about Natalie Wood. I'm going to show you a little clip right off the top here.
Stop, Uncle Fred! Stop! Stop! Susie!
You guys remember this movie?
Susie,
you guys watch this as children?
What is she doing?
Do we remember this movie?
Susie!
Yeah, I watched this as a child.
Are you 98? What the fuck are you talking
Calm
about?
right down. You know you shouldn't run around another...
Oh, now that I see the title, I know what it is. Yeah.
But you guys never watched it?
Like from this scene, no. And I actually never watched this movie anyway, so.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but it says 1947, dude. Come the fuck on.
No, but fucking TV. When I was a kid, I don't know when you were a kid. I had 3 channels, and they would play like old school Christmas movies at Christmas all the time.
See, that's
just
the
on
difference.
TV.
I was poor, but my parents spent unwisely on cable. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah, so she was a little girl in fucking Miracle on 34th Street, which I found crazy that she transitioned. She's like acting since she was like 4 years old, and she transitioned to an adult actress, which is crazy. So Natalie Wood was pretty famous. She died at the age of 43 under what some might say are mysterious circumstances. She's died of drowning after falling off her and her husband's yacht while out on California's Catalina Island. Her husband was Robert Wagner. Do you guys know who that guy is? He's like an actor. You know who Robert Wagner is? Yeah. He was like the guy with the eye patch in Austin Powers. That'd be like the easiest way to remember him for our generation. But he was on Heart to Heart back in the 80s. And anyways.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Yeah. I definitely, the Austin Powers one is where I know him from, but I know that he was an actor of some prestige before he was the number one guy in the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, no, he's...
Oh, damn, he's alive.
Yeah, he's still kicking. When she was out on the boat, she was actually with her husband and her co-star of the movie she was currently filming, which was the movie called Brainstorm, and it starred Christopher Walken. So Walken was out there too, and they had a captain, like the skipper of the yacht, was with them as well. So there's 4 people on this boat. Some people say it was a tragic accident, while others claim that someone on the boat pushed her off and let her drown. Whether that was her husband, Christopher Walken, or the captain of the yacht, who was just there to navigate the boat for the coked out movie stars, who knows?
I think we can all agree that if it was the captain, that's fucked up. Like that then they would cover for it too and be like, no, she just drowned. Like the captain just went AWOL and fucking shoved the guy's wife in. The only one that it makes sense for anybody to cover up is if Wagner did it, because if Christopher Walken shoved her in the water as well, like Wagner's just gonna let that slide. You just murdered my wife.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I agree. I think the only person, if there was a cover up, would be for him. But we'll talk about how people think it could be any of those three. The story of Natalie Wood's death has been suspicious, even when it happened in 1981, but it's always like remained suspicious. But the cops always call it an accidental drowning until 2018, when the case was reclassified as drowning under mysterious circumstances. It took them like 40 years to change that to a mysterious death. Yeah, because we'll talk about why in a bit.
They dig up like
yeah, nothing ever came of that from 2018 to now, but it did reinvigorate the case, and lots of people talked about it. So let's put this to bed. Usually, Nick, what we do is we just solve all the crimes. Like when it's done, we figured it out. That's the end of the crime. If there is even a crime here, you guys tell me. And we make up our own theories, because this is what true crime does. They just make up their own shit. So if we can make up our own shit too, why not? Let's just make it up.
Sure.
Natalie Wood was born July 20th, 1938, to Russian immigrants Maria Zuldilova. I can't see these fucking names.
Russian immigrants? I have a theory. All right. We got a different theory now.
Yeah.
Percolating here. Let's go.
I like when people have theories first sentence of the fucking actual meeting.
I heard Russian. Like, okay.
And her father's name was Nicholas Zakharenko, and that was in San Francisco, California. Her given name was Natalia Nikolaevna Zakharenko. Her father was a carpenter, and her mother was a homemaker. Her dad sounds like a gem. He was a Russian immigrant drunk, and he had a terrible temper. And usually that shit goes together.
So a very supportive and loving father.
Really? Russians are usually so well-tempered.
Yeah.
I've never met a mean Russian. Look, this is a family of spies. This is the movie. The Black Widow solo movie. They were that, right?
Potentially. Yeah, you tell me when I'll tell you what they actually
Walken
did.
and Wagner took her out on a boat and did a solid for America. Next story.
I like the theory
Red, white,
already.
blue, baby.
This could fall into your theory right here. So about a year after Natalia's birth, Natalie is what they started calling her later on, the family changes their family name to Gurdin or Gurdine, because they said that they didn't want to sound as Russian and they want to sound more American, because nobody could like pronounce Zakharenko, because that's not that terrible. That's not that hard of one. But then everyone kept mispronouncing Gurdine as Gurdin too. So I love that. Like they just found another name no one could pronounce. Natalia's mother, Maria, was kind of a crazy lady, and we'll talk about this as it goes on. I'm not going to give you all the things. I'll give them as a pepper them in as we go. So they were born in Russia, but fled after the Russian Civil War. They were part of the White Army. The Red Army won, everyone, just so you know. The White Army was the other army. And whoever was associated with the White Army, most of them fled to China to escape Russia after that. To a
White
place...
Army? I thought that was Taylor Swift fans. Am I right? Am I right?
You probably are. I don't know. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but maybe.
We got Russian spies and Taylor Swift.
They fled to a place called Harbin, which I looked up this little town. It's got a bunch of Russian architecture because of this, like fleeing from Russia after, like, I guess the 1810 or 1910s, 1914, 15. So it's like kind of crazy. It's like a little Russian town in China. It's a little really weird. So she gets married in Harbin to another Russian guy named Alexander Virapev, and they have one kid named Olga. From Harbin, the little family immigrates to Shanghai and eventually to San Francisco. While in San Francisco, it's unclear to me why, but Maria and Alexander break up. Soon after, she meets Nicholas, and they have another two kids. Natalie was the middle child of three girls. There was an older half-sister, Olga, like I said, and a younger one named Lana. Olga is 10 years older than Natalie, and 8 years younger is Lana than Natalie. So like big differences in age growing up. Like, did you guys have, I know you have a big difference in age with your brothers, RJ, but like, do you have like brothers and sisters, Nick?
Yeah, very close too. It's like one, and it's like less than 2 years apart. One of those
Yeah, 16 months
Irish
for me
Catholic sort of thing, and then they stop though.
too. Yeah, I find that crazy having like a 30-year difference between your oldest and your youngest. I can't imagine. I got kids.
That's crazy. Like there's some abuse going on there. 30 years, that's nuts.
I guess it's 20 years, 18 years. It's still lots to me. It's still like a shit ton.
Yeah.
Sorry, because I'm counting one way both. Like it's 10 and then 8 down. Like that's only 20 years. Anyways, or 18 years. But yeah, it's still lots to me. I can't imagine having fucking like kids not close together. Like I never grew up like that, so it's weird to me.
Usually it's different marriages or relationships. I find it weirder when it's not because like Misty's oldest sister, my wife, she's on my mom's age, I think.
Oh, that's
So
fucked.
my mom was only 22 when she had me, and Misty and I are the same age. So Misty's mom is a little bit younger than my grandmother.
Wow, that's a lot.
But I have a young grandma and a young mom. So I mean she just has an old mom, so that gap kind of makes more sense.
I just find that shit. I don't know why that interests me so much. Like growing up, I don't know. I've done so many of these things where I look at people's like pasts and just see how they grow up to see like how they turn out, kind of thing. This one to me, whenever it's a big age gap between siblings, I don't know why. It's so interesting to me. Growing up like that'd be so weird. Your parents would be so fed up by the last one. Like I thought I was done. In the HBO documentary Natalie Wood, What Remains Behind, Natalie Wood's daughter, which is Natasha Gregson, who was in like High Fidelity, she's an actress as well. She's in a couple movies. Tells a story about how her grandmother Maria, while living in Russia, gets her fortune told by a gypsy, or can you say gypsy, a Romani person?
As far as I'm concerned, you can say it. I don't
know.
You know,
I don't know about that one. The gypsy told Maria that her middle daughter's beauty would be known worldwide, and the gypsy also told her to beware of dark water. And there's a part in the documentary as well where there's an interview like on Letterman or some shit with Natalie Wood saying, "I've always been scared of dark water." I don't fucking know what dark water is. Assuming that means ocean, deep ass ocean water. I've never heard that term before until this.
one thing we can say, you can always trust a gypsy. Always trust them.
I've heard that
They
one.
are a good people who don't steal your shit.
Yeah.
If you're curious, Dark Water is a shitty 2005 horror movie. I think starring Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I saw that too. I watched that back in the day. Are they in the ocean? Like I feel like it's
No,
ocean.
it's like any water. It's like what if water was haunted? That's the whole movie.
What's that movie that just came out? That swimming pool movie. What the fuck was it?
Oh, Night Swim?
Yeah, Night Swim.
I
The
didn't watch
pool.
it.
I watched it with Oscar in theater, and it was the pool was haunted. Like the pool was coming to get them. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, that's some Stephen King
I just want to see what
fucking
this.
scraping the barrel shit.
I want to see what this means. What does dark water mean? Because I was about to say my guess at it, and I'm like, well, that doesn't seem right. So dark water can refer to several concepts, including literally dark-colored water caused by depth, shadows, or sediment, or water from toilets that is not clean. That's funny. Probably, if you're afraid of dark water, you're probably afraid of that ocean one that I said. You should actually probably be more afraid of the toilet water.
Yeah, one's rational.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's the whole movie. Jennifer Connelly is running away from shit water. There's unflushed toilets everywhere, and she has panic attacks in public bathrooms.
Just stuck in a toilet for 20 minutes, just trying to get out.
Well, that movie did come out after her stint in the Hulk, so she was literally running away from shit water.
Yeah.
It was a bad movie.
Living in the toilet after that. Little Natalie was always a performer. Her mother always thought she was super cute. A bunch of her family was always like, "You're so cute, and you need to get acting. You need to get in front of someone because you need to get on TV. You should be an actress." So her mom enrolls her in ballet, really young, super Russian thing to do.
Dude, this is the fucking Black Widow story, dude.
Yeah.
Like right now, it doesn't have. There's no difference.
No
There's
difference so
no
far.
discernible difference yet.
No difference so far. She gets her first film role in 1943 in a movie called The Moon is Down. And she just got that role by being super cute near the film shoot. Her mom heard about like the shooting of film downtown San Francisco. So she's like, I better bring my going to be world famous super daughter to come down to this film shoot and we'll get her on the movie for sure. So yeah, she happens to bump into the director with the little girl holding her hand. And the director's like, what's going on here? And she just tells her daughter, like, sing him the song I taught you. So she's been like training her from like 4 years old to like be cute in front of this guy. And she does. She sings in front of this guy. This guy fucking loves her. Puts her in that movie. Then he puts her in another movie called Happy Land right away, right after. And if I could show you
Interesting. Is this based solely upon the fact that she's just so cute?
there are later in her life, and I didn't get right into her like full blown like Hollywood life, but like it wouldn't surprise me if her mom was like offering her up in that way. Like I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked because later on in life. Like I didn't write it in the script, but later on in life, there's like allegations of fucking Frank Sinatra just banging her out when she's 15, like looking for her.
Maybe that's why her dad was so drunk and angry.
Yeah, he was jealous of Frank Sinatra.
Just like everybody's fucking passing my kid around in Hollywood. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's a whole big thing where she was like secretly raped by Kirk Douglas. And they never said, they only brought it, like Lana, her sister only like told everyone after Kirk died, like the day after he died, she's like, it was Kirk Douglas. It was always a rumor like by a famous guy, but who is it? No one knew until Kirk Douglas died. He's like, it was Kirk. Like she went through a lot in her life. So I wouldn't be surprised if this fucking, what's this guy's name? Irving Pichel, if he just took her as a 4-year-old. I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be a little bit shocked because that's 4 years old, pretty fucking young, but not really because it's Hollywood.
Pretty fucking young. Jesus, I've never heard something understated more. I will say we now have the first official divergence away from Black Widow. She did not get banged by Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You got to read the comics. That's they didn't adapt it right.
Oh God.
Marvel is so dark in the 70s. Imagine they just have Sinatra like calling in the White Widow just to fucking.
I would respect that so much because Frank Sinatra is a scumbag. He needs
After
to be
this
called out
conversation, I feel like I've been soaked in dark water. I'd like to say let's move on to a happier part, but I feel like it continues to go downhill.
No, her life. Her life.
I
is
have a happy
quite-
digression. We
Sure.
mentioned Kirk Douglas, and are you guys familiar with Kirk Douglas's son, Eric Douglas?
No, I only
No.
know the famous one.
So yeah, this is my favorite anecdote in all of like stand-up comedy. Eric Douglas did stand-up, and he was terrible at it apparently. And supposedly there was a show he did somewhere in like London, and I don't even know what time period this was, but he was bombing so bad, he just snapped and said like, "Do you know who I am? I'm Kirk Douglas's son." And then one by one, people in the audience stood up and said, "No, I'm Kirk Douglas's son."
That's it. That's it. That comedy club should close down after that. Like
Yeah,
there
you
is
can't-
never going to be a better moment that occurs within that comedy club. That's it.
When I saw that, I was like, comedy's so crazy because even when you're really bad at it, you can accidentally be amazing at it.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's a great story.
That's insanely good. Oof. Even if it's not true, like I believe it's true only because I have to believe it's true. But even if it's not, like it's just, I hope that lore spreads. Like it's one of those ones you're like, I don't want this to die if somebody finds out. Actually, that's not. I was there. No. I need to know that happened in my
Yeah.
heart.
No, it's
Yeah,
happened.
it's on his Wikipedia page. I'm double checking, and yes, it was at the Comedy Store in London. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. A London crowd would absolutely do that. Was he on the Gong Show? Because they do a Gong Show there, and that sounds like the thing he'd do. He'd be on the Gong Show, and they'd all start fucking booing or whatever, and then, do you know who the fuck I am?
I think this was just organic.
That's
Oh,
even
wow.
funnier.
It's that
I
bad.
find it funnier that it's organic.
Yeah.
All right, so Irving Pichel loves fucking little Natalie. Is that right? Is that
Whoa,
King Joe right now?
rephrase.
He loves her. He thinks she's amazing. She thinks she's the cutest little fucking girl, and he wants her in every movie you can put her in.
Okay, but you said he loves fucking.
Oh, he loves her, not the fucking her. I don't know if that happened. That's conjecture.
Well, you can't fuck a child either. You would only rape them.
That's true. Yeah, so Pychelle,
What's going on?
she leaves back. She goes back
I'm just
to
I'm just
San,
instructing Richard on his
how to
new
correctly speak.
pursuits
How to
in the
correctly
future.
speak.
Yeah.
So Pychelle, they go back to San Fran. Pychelle goes back to Hollywood, but he keeps in touch with the family for the next couple of years. Anytime there's a child role, he wants little Natalie to be a part of it because he fucking loves her. And at 7 years old, he tells Maria to bring Natalie to LA to screen test for an upcoming movie that he was going to direct. They needed a little German girl, and your daughter's Russian, but whatever, same shit, because that's how American this guy is. Like, that's it's not the same, but it's the same. So let's bring her here. Maria's so excited by this news that she packs the entire family and they move to LA. Dad just quits his job as a carpenter. We're moving to LA. Let's do this. Father didn't want to move. Probably hit the wife a bunch because that's what kind of a fucking asshole this guy was. But they still did it. Yeah, he eventually uses his carpentry skills to start moving or working in Hollywood as well. So like he didn't really have a. It's not like he quit forever and they had no money right away. He was a carpenter on sets. The move paid off though. Natalie gets a role working beside Orson Welles in Pitchell's film Tomorrow is Forever. During this movie, she had to cry at a certain scene and she couldn't cry on cue. So her mother went behind camera, grabbed a butterfly from wherever the fuck she got it, and tore it apart in front of her just to get her little kid crying. That's some psycho shit. That is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's I'm saying, like, I know apparently this girl's life gets better before it gets much worse, but I'm not hearing it yet.
No, it's Orson Welles loved her. Orson Welles said she was like so good it was terrifying. That's a quote of his. And he also said the cliche like Natalie doesn't act from a script, she acts from the heart.
And her mom tearing butterflies.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
That's the other. Yeah,
a broken.
It's not
heart.
from the heart, man. That's just child abuse.
So after this movie, this is when Natalie changes her name to Wood from Gerdine. Actually, Natalie 7, she doesn't change her name. A bunch of movie producers do. They're like, we don't like Gerdine, so you got to change your name, little girl. Like, her parents are just like, sure, we got to change her name. I find that fucked up. They just sign a little girl to a 7-movie deal or 7-year deal for MGM. Not 7 movies, 7-year deal, and be like, your name's not good enough. You're now Natalie Wood. Like, that's...
Whoa. What are you going to do? Leave all that money on the table for a little thing like, your child's identity? Come on.
Oh, man. So after Pitchell puts Natalie in a few more movies, she goes on to make movies with other filmmakers. Her most famous role as a child was playing Susan on Miracle on 34th Street, the little girl who doubts the existence of Santa Claus. She's 8 in that movie. She has a very successful acting career as a child acting career. She does a movie or 2 a year all the way through her childhood years. When she was really young, she didn't go to traditional school. She had to be taught 3 hours a week. That was the law. 3 hours a week she has to be in school, but it was just like a tutor at the studio. Apparently she's good at math. By the time she's 12, her father has the first of a series of many heart attacks. So he couldn't work anymore. So she had the responsibility of feeding a family along with learning and acting.
Yeah, but then his new job was just being her tutor 3 hours a week where he got hammered and yelled about the Bolsheviks. That was her entire education. This is all you'll need to know. This.
He was like pro-Bolshevik though, right? That would be the side that lost. Maria's job was answering her daughter's fan mail, which was enough to be a full-time job, apparently.
Ew. That was fucking awful.
Her mom answering them or her mom having to do that?
But just both. Like, because it was just the most heinous things. And she was probably like, oh, yeah. Like, just pretending to be her and just having, like, letter sex with pedophiles.
Oh God, I didn't even think of it that way. I thought of little girls emailing her being like, I never believed in Santa until you told me either, but you're probably right.
That's because you have children and there's
heart.
light in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Maria's still doing crazy set mom stuff though. Like she'd be criticizing her child's acting at like 10, you know what I mean? She's like, and like the butterfly thing, she'd be like, if you don't act better, your sister's not going to eat this week. Like she's threatening starvation for the rest of the family. So this little girl's got a
heart. Her acting right from the heart.
Orson Welles is onto something. At 12, she has to start going to real school when she's not on set. And she says that made her feel very out of place because she was used to hanging out with adults, which is also super sad. Like, she didn't know how to hang out with kids. As a teenager, she was in a sitcom on ABC called Pride in the Family. I could go on and on about all the stupid shit she was in as a teen, did a lot of TV in her teen years. In 1955, at the age of 16, Natalie got cast in the James Dean flick called Rebel Without a Cause. Now, we've all heard of this movie. I don't think any of us have actually watched it. Has anybody seen that James Dean movie?
I'm sorry, what year did it come out?
55.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I know.
I'm not going to watch anything older than 1970. I already said that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just saying, I don't dip my back that far either. I think the 70s is about as far back as I go to. It gets too weird before that.
I got a lot of complaints about a lot of the 70s too, you know, like there's there's some great ones in there, but I do find like the way somebody will say that a movie like they're good movies, but the like Godfather or Apocalypse Now or whatever, I'm like, these are good movies, but stop jerking off to them. They're all of them are about 45 minutes too long. And there's some bullshit in there that we don't need, that looked great at the time or was this cool, whatever. Just admit we moved on. You know?
For sure. We've made way better stuff since. So like when you watch all the stuff that's out now and then you go back and watch like Apocalypse Now, you're like, I guess.
Yeah. The only reason I even omit or even accept the 70s in that statement is because of Alien, which was made at the end of the 70s.
Yeah. Look, I love Jaws. I like those other movies that I just mentioned. The first Rocky. There's a bunch of shit, but like even some like Taxi Driver, man, I like it. Like I thought it was good, but I'm like, how is everybody obsessed with this movie?
For sure. Even like you dip into the 80s, it gets the same way. Like Scarface and shit, like that's not that good. Like these movies aren't that good.
Scarface was I was like, how the fuck did everybody obsess over this much?
They didn't really figure out movie making until 2008 when they absolutely nailed it with Gran Torino.
I was like, is he gonna go Dark Knight? That's a good one, but no, we got to call back to Gran Torino for sure.
Yeah.
James Cameron came in, and Spielberg and those guys started to be like, how do we make good movies that people love watching, that like tell the story and get to the goddamn point?
For sure.
Like the pacing on those movies, it's pacing. Like I don't need to. The fact that The Godfather, this will be my last one on it because this has nothing to do with this podcast, but The Godfather's good, but that opening like 30 minutes of like people coming in to visit him and stuff, people will say how like this is the perfect set. I'm like, I get it. He's the Godfather. Like 2 or 3 people coming in quick, and we're good. We got it. Yes, everyone in the community respects him. I assume that's why they call him the Godfather. So let's move the fuck on.
You know what else informed that plot point? The fucking title.
Yeah. From a very popular book of the same title.
I'm sure all the advertising was just like, as the Godfather. And just like a million times you would have seen it. The thing that's interesting about Rebel Without a Cause and the 50s, if you just keep going back further, like the 50s and 40s and shit like that, that's just like propaganda movies for America. Like that's all it is. Like nobody's thinking about making art. They're just like, the war. We're like, here's a World War II movie again, where the American guy's the hero or whatever. Like that's what movies are back then.
And we're on it for quick. Orson Welles. Fuck Orson Welles. The guy, like, fuck him. Like his movies suck.
For sure.
His acting is like weird, and like it's just like you go back and you just like I know people like you have to appreciate what came before, but you don't sometimes. Like sometimes you just feel like I'm glad they did it so that good people would start doing it, but my god.
But that's the appreciation part.
Yeah.
What you just said. Appreciate that it happened. Just I don't have to appreciate the actual thing. But yeah, no,
but that's not what I mean, right? I do mean appreciate that it happened. But people talk about it like, no, you have to appreciate it, like, and actually say that it's good. Like, no. No,
exactly. I agree. So the thing about this movie is that when this is the first time that Natalie ever read a script on her own and she got to like pick that she wanted to do this movie, and her parents were pressuring her into doing this. In fact, her parents hated this movie. Studio executives were like, I don't know if you're right fit for this, because she was like the cutesy like teen girl and like her TV show and all that stuff. She wasn't like the Rebel Without a Cause or whatever. So this movie ends up being a huge success. And after starring in this movie, this is when she says like, okay, I love acting. I want to be an actress for the rest of my life now. It wasn't just the fact that my mom was pushing me and my sister was starving. She gets nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her portrayal of Judy, James Dean's love interest. So after this, she renegotiates her contract with MGM so that she could pick one movie a year that she wanted to do and not just be like told she has to do it. So like that, I find that crazy that she had to be like, I just want to do one, just one that I like. Like she had to fight for that. And yeah, she did this right through her 20s. She gets some good parts. By the time she's 25 years old, she becomes the youngest person to be nominated for an Academy Award 3 times. This record isn't held by her anymore. It's held by Jennifer Lawrence. And I don't know how to say this chick's name. Saoirse Ronan? Saoirse? I don't know how to say that chick's name. I've heard it before, but she's super Irish chick. They were both nominated for 3 by the time they're 23. But she had that for a long time. Here's an interesting one. I didn't want to name all her movies and shit because it doesn't matter, but this one's fun. She was the lead in West Side Story in 1961, where she rocks brownface to look Puerto Rican, which good for her. It's one of her most iconic roles, and she's full-blown brownface.
Well, they canceled her for it.
Yeah.
As soon as we get to the end of this episode, I think we're going to find out that justice was served. That's why Wagner threw her in. No, the captain. It is the captain now. He was Puerto Rican, and they were like, "What the fuck? You brought this bitch onto my boat?"
So yeah, she starred in Gypsy, Splendor in the Grass, The Great Race. I could just keep going on. I don't want to talk about all the films because it would be another hour. And that is actually the saddest part about this episode to me is the fact that her legacy ends up being her like murder or her accidental death rather than her actual body of work. Anyways, moving on. That's what most people know. It's the fact.
It makes sense though. I understand what you're saying. She has this huge body of work, but like if you drown in mysterious circumstances on a boat with Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken, that is how you will be remembered.
For sure. And it's just sad. It's not shocking. It's just sad that that's how it ended up for her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I watched a lot of stuff about her, and I'm just saying this on a little side note. I watched a lot of like interviews and stuff with her, and I thought she was like fun. I liked her. She was like a good guest on things. She was always like funny and witty, and she was cool. I thought she was cool. So she did 56 films in her career, television. She starred in movies alongside Laurence Olivier, James Dean, Frank Sinatra, Jack Lemmon, Peter Falk, Robert Redford, Dennis Hopper. She was a commercially successful actor for most of her career, but many people criticized her acting ability. She got the Harvard Lampoon Award in 1966 for being the worst actress of last year, this year, and the next. That's a funny award to give to someone.
Lampooned indeed.
And she was the first person to actually go attend and accept the award in person, which I also find super cool. She was like a good sport about the whole thing. The first person to actually be like, cool, I'm awesome. This is awesome that I won this.
As long as I don't have to watch butterflies die while I do it anymore, I will accept all these awards. Like, you have no idea what my upbringing was. This award is like third best thing that's happened to me.
She was married 3 times to 2 different guys. She married Robert Wagner, the guy from Austin Powers we're talking about, the eye patch guy. But I just want you guys to understand, this is where Robert Wagner started. Now, let me share my screen really quick. He was in a movie called Prince Valiant, and that's the way he looked. Like, that was the thing that made him famous. This fucking... People...
I love how there's watermarks on that, like somebody's going to steal it.
Yeah. He was made fun of by all his contemporaries while he was filming this thing. People would come onto set and just make fun of him. What was Reagan's wife's name?
Nancy.
Well, yeah. What was her original last name? She was an actress too, but people thought it was her.
Sorry.
People thought it was her when they went on set. I fucking find that hilarious. So yeah, I just want you to know that that's that guy. That's
fun fact. The third thing that comes up on DuckDuckGo. Oh, excuse me. The second thing that comes up on DuckDuckGo and autofill when you start to type in Nancy Reagan, is Nancy Reagan the throat goat?
Yeah, she's considered. That's another thing about Nancy Reagan. She's like apparently blowing everyone on set all the time, but that's a different mystery we can solve another day.
No, we can do it right now.
Prince Valiant was that movie, and he was starring that. You're gonna like this part, RJ. Robert Wagner was known to his friends as RJ. When I talk about fucked up shit with Robert Wagner, I'm calling him RJ the whole time today. Wagner some parts, RJ at other parts. So Wagner and Wood married on December 28th, 1957, when she was only 19 and he was 27 years old. They broke up 3.5 years later. The rumor was that Natalie and RJ broke up because Natalie was having an affair with her co-star at the time, Robert Redford, which isn't true according to that documentary I watched. There's also a rumor that they broke up because Natalie caught Wagner in bed with another man, also rumored to be Robert Redford. So I don't know which one. Robert Redford tore these two apart. I don't know who he was fucking, though. Could have been either one of them. I like it. A couple years after breaking up with Robert Wagner, Natalie had a nervous breakdown of sorts. She tried to commit suicide in 1965 by popping a bunch of sleeping pills.
Wagner?
Nah, it's because a bunch of things. She's
Wagner's not worth it.
It wasn't because of Wagner. It was just a lot of like she was working a lot, and it's not like she even like really tried to kill herself. In a way she did, but she was like, okay, assistant, I'm gonna go have all these sleeping pills now. Like she went and told the person, then went and did it. And the person just like called the ambulance right away. It was more of a cry for help than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little cry for help. Like,
Yeah.
she cried for help before she did the cry for help. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
maybe when you're telling your person you're going to go kill yourself, you know that they're not going to let that happen. So just like talk with them.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to go take all these pills. Want to hang out for a minute, or how you doing there?
Just like, okay, Natalie, I'll talk to you in a bit. I'll call the ambulance. So between her breakup with Wagner in 1961 and 1966, she dated many famous men, including Warren Beatty, Michael Caine, David Niven Jr., Elvis. She said Elvis was a gentleman, and that's all he was good at, meaning he was fucking terrible in bed. She was implying that he was shitty in bed, which I think is fun because we did an episode on Elvis, and I think he's one of the biggest pieces of shit that ever existed. In May 1969, she proposed to and married British producer Richard Gregson after they dated for nearly 3 years. They had a daughter named Natasha, which we talked about her earlier a little bit. Their marriage didn't last very long, getting divorced in 1971. Gregson was fucking Natalie's assistant, which is awkward. She dated a couple more guys, but reunited with
Would have been better if it was Robert Redford, tell you that much.
Yeah, probably. Every Robert Redford's just breaking up all of her relationships by fucking her husband. That'd be hilarious. He just follows her around banging her husbands. She gets back with Robert Wagner in 1972. So yeah, they get remarried in July of 72. And they have a daughter in 1974 named Courtney. Natalie's younger sister was also an actress, Lana Woods. She was never as famous as her older sister, but she did some notable things as well. She was a Bond girl named Plenty O'Toole in Diamonds Are Forever. I only mentioned her because she adds a lot of anecdotes about her sister's death later on in the episode. After the birth of Courtney, Natalie takes a few years off acting to focus on her mental health and to focus on raising her kids. So from 1970 until her death in 1981, she was only in 4 more theatrical films. Jesus Christ, I don't know why I couldn't say that.
Electrical.
She did a bunch of TV, but in those days, if you were a TV actor, you might as well have been shit. You can't act in TV and movies. That's trash.
Why?
I don't know. That was a big Hollywood thing where like TV actors are TV actors, film actors are film actors, no cross
Oh
contamination.
yeah. Yeah, I forget that now because now there's like zero difference,
No, everybody does
especially
everything.
with like streaming companies.
Yeah, it was always like a big story when one of them broke through. Like Rob Reiner breaking through with This Is Spinal Tap was huge, right? Like he was fucking meathead. And then he started like, yeah, I'm gonna make movies now, and like, yeah, it doesn't happen that often. It didn't happen that often.
Very good point.
She sunk down from making like Academy Award winning films to television. Disgusting. By the end of her life, she was attempting a comeback into film. Her kids were getting a bit older, and she was in a stable marriage with Robert Wagner. Wagner, in 1979, gets the lead in the TV show Heart to Heart. So he's busy working, and Natalie's at home with the kids. But in 1981, Natalie takes a role in a sci-fi film called Brainstorm, starring alongside Christopher Walken. The film started to shoot in September 1981, and the cast flew to North Carolina for all their location shooting. And that would be like 6 weeks. And in November, they were going to head back to MGM Studios to film the interior scenes. Wagner was in Hawaii at this time shooting Heart to Heart. It was the first time since Courtney was born that the parents were both away from home. The kids were left at home with their nanny for the first time too. So it was like a lot of stress between Wagner and Wood, really. Just being apart from the kids is a lot. Being apart from themselves is a lot. So at Thanksgiving, they were all planning on taking a break. Both Heart to Heart and Brainstorm were going to take a long weekend off. And Wagner and Wood welcomed the time off to spend with each other. So they spend Thanksgiving at their house in Beverly Hills with the kids. It was a big enough party with enough people staying for dinner. So that was nice. They missed the kids so much that the next day, On November 27th, they decide that they're going to go spend the rest of their weekend on Catalina Island on the yacht without the kids together. So they get spent one day with the kids. Catalina Island's where they got married. It's a fun place for them to go. They had that yacht. They loved spending time on the yacht. They had a 58-foot motor yacht. They named the yacht Splendor after the film Splendor in the Grass, one of the films Natalie was nominated for an Academy Award for. And they had a little dinghy that came with the boat. And they named that Prince Valiant after the character Wagner portrayed with the fucking stupid haircut. I fucking love that. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. The little dinghy's called Valiant. Natalie hated swimming on the ocean, but she loved the yacht. It was just a good place for them to get away, just her and her family, because they were like a young Hollywood couple, always followed by paparazzi all the time. Like, so the yacht was a good way to get away from everyone, even though she hated the ocean.
Great place for no one to know what happened, you might say.
For sure.
She would have loved the paparazzi there that night.
Yeah, that's the one time she's like, God damn it, why aren't they taking pictures of me? So for Thanksgiving weekend, Wagner and Wood invited a ton of people for the weekend on the water. Not their kids, but like friends. Most people declined because it was going to be a shitty weather weekend and they didn't want to go out in the water when it was raining and thunderstorming. A bunch of people also said they were working, so they didn't want to go. The only one who could actually come was Natalie's current Brainstorm co-star, Christopher Walken, which I don't know why. I don't know Christopher Walken. I've watched a bit of him. Like, I watched a bunch of movies, but I've never really watched him talk that much. But I feel like that's a totally Christopher Walken move. Like, nobody's coming, I'll come. Like, he's just, I feel like that's a him move. I don't know why. That's amazing. The yacht captain was a guy named Dennis Davern. So Wood Wagner had hired Davern to look after the ship, and they go that night, and the weather's shit. Like I said, it was super rough night, lots of waves, thunderstorm. It wasn't fun to get seasick, so Natalie decides that she wants to spend the night on land. Wood ends up getting on the dinghy with Davern, and they head back into town of Avalon, which is on Catalina Island. And she spends the night in a hotel room there, talks to her kids on the phone, that kind of stuff. Walken and Wagner stay on board the ship so they can just get absolutely plastered and do a bunch of drugs, Quaaludes and shit like that.
Plot.
Let's, how do we kill this Russian spy?
That sounds like when they were like, fuck, we gotta get rid of her, right? Like tomorrow's the day.
It could be. The next morning, Davern and Wood return to the boat. Walken and Wagner are passed out. They're fucking sleeping, having a rough morning. But they wake up. She makes them breakfast. They head back to town, go do a little bit of shopping. On the evening, Davern, Walker, Wagner, and Wood all go to dinner at a place called Doug's Harbor Reef Restaurant. And they seem to be having a great time.
Sounds top notch.
They start drinking. So I think this is all really, a lot of heavy drinking. Like, they went through 7 or 8 bottles of wine just through dinner between 4 people. That's 2 bottles of wine each. That's pretty fucking, it's not super hammered, but that's enough. That's enough between 4 people. They end up heading back to the Splendor around 10:30 at night. They were drinking so much that the manager of Doug's, Don Whiting, was like scared for them to like get back on the dinghy and drive back. So he calls the Coast Guard, or the Harbor Patrol, sorry, not the Coast Guard, just to keep an eye on them to make sure they get back to the Splendor. And I want to stress, they're about 50 to 100 feet out. They're not like super far, and there's lots of boats around. It's not just their boat out in the fucking 200 feet out. They're 50 to 100 feet out from the shore.
I want to stress that when the manager of Doug's is concerned about you, there's concern to be had.
You're not wrong.
The amount of fucking people Doug put into a coma with his fucking liquor from his shitty restaurant, and he's like, these people, Christopher Walken just fucking swaying like fucking deer hunter guys losing it. We gotta make sure they're okay.
Oh God. So yeah, that's the last time anybody other than the other passengers ever see Natalie Wood alive. Here's a disputed fact, which I don't believe, but you know, people like to inject themselves into cases all the time. So this is what I feel this is an injection. At 11 p.m. ish, around that time, a lady named Marilyn Wayne, who was on her yacht about 80 feet away from where the Splendor was floating, said she heard someone scream, "Help me, I'm drowning." And Wayne claims that she tried to call the harbor master to report it, but couldn't get through. You know, harbor masters don't pick up. Usually that's what happens.
Especially not on choppy nights.
Yeah. And when you're drowning, I don't feel like you're yelling. You're like drowning. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to swim yourself into not dying. You're not like, I'm going to use all my resources yelling my energy. Like, I don't think that's happening. But this is the thing that comes up later on where this lady says she heard someone yelling, "I'm drowning." I don't believe it, but it could be. And it's all reported after the fact, too. It's not like it was reported that night. It was like, oh, yeah, I was there. I heard yelling. At about 1:30 a.m. on November 29th, RJ gets on the radio saying that someone was missing from his boat. No one knows where she is. And he says someone.
I would never implicate myself like that.
Call someone at some point. It's one of the most famous people in the world is missing from their boat.
No, you never admit wrong.
Okay.
Even if it's not actually admitting wrong.
RJ on this.
Yeah, you never admit anything.
You show up, and next day on the island, and people are like, "Hey, where's Natalie Wood? She was with you last night." It's like, "Fucking ask Doug. We left hammered,
Yeah.
and he let us take a dinghy." So, you want to know who's culpable? Like literally. If we were driving home and got in an accident, he'd be held legally responsible. You know what? It's his fault. It's Doug's.
Mhm.
Doug could have put a stop to this.
Every time I've gotten pulled over by the police, having allegedly been drinking and driving, I have said no, I have not, and I've never gotten in trouble for it. So
That's fair. You've never been in trouble for it?
I was with somebody one time who were driving home from a gig, and he literally did only have one drink, but we had a ride program, and the cop was just like, "Have you had anything to drink?" He's like, "I had this like a couple hours ago," and they're like, "Pull over!" Like it's like you just admitted to having a drink, and you're behind the wheel of a car.
Yep.
And then he had to do the blow on the thing, and then afterwards, I was like, "Dude, have you never been pulled over by the cops before? Like you just say no." And they're going to look in your eyes. They're not going to smell anything, and they're going to let you go. Like you're good.
exactly. They've asked me point blank to my face before. They're like, "Well, then why do I smell alcohol?" And I just go, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you're having a fucking stroke, dude. Like I don't know why you smell what you smell. Or is this a philosophy class now? We're in a philosophy class. Okay.
Crazy, you're wasting your time on this, dude.
Yeah.
One time this is before weed was legal, and I just bought a fucking huge ounce smoking weed with my drug dealer, and I was driving on the highway home because I live in the middle of fucking nowhere, and there was a ride program, and I was like super baked, not thinking, and as soon as I pulled up to this ride thing, I gave him my driver's license, which you don't do at a ride. You just go, "No, I'm good." But I gave him my license. He's like, "What's going on in here?" And I'm like, "Nothing." He's like, "Why are you giving me your license?" I'm like, "I don't know. I figured you might want it." He goes, "What are you up to tonight?" I'm like, "I was playing magic cards with my friends." And he's
Nice.
like, "What?" He's like, "What's magic cards?" I'm like, like Dungeons and Dragons, but like with cards, like super nerdy." And he goes, "I don't know." He's like, "Does magic cards have anything to do with marijuana?" I'm like, and I swear to God, I looked at the cop and I was like, "I wish." And the cop, the cop dies laughing. He looks over at his buddy, he goes, "He says
So
he wishes. He says he wishes." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And he's like, "Can you just pull over up here?" And then I had to get out and do the whole
There was
sobriety.
like
You had to do a
there
sat
was like
on the side of the road.
10 things you could have said that were wrong, and that's in the top 3. Like that's an insane thing to say.
Yeah, I was
I
so
wish.
baked and dumb. And then he's like in the back, like he's like, "Can I look? What are you talking about magic cards?" I'm like, "Look," and I had my binders of magic cards. I'm like, "Look at this, it's a magic card."
Jesus.
I was
Fuck, you showed him your cards?
That's how fucking dumb. And then the
You're
cop
in
said,
so deep.
"I know," but the cop left and I had a buddy with me who had more weed than me, and we're both sitting in the front seat smoking cigarettes like crazy. And the cop leaves, and it's probably a half an hour. It's a long ass time. And he comes back and he just looks at me, and goes, "Drive home slowly." And I'm like, "I don't think I have a choice, officer." And then I just leave, and it's silence. It was another half hour till I get home. Silence the entire way home until we pull into my buddy's house and I let him off. He looks at me, he literally goes, "I wish, Richard." That's what you say to fucking cops. "I wish." And he gets out and slams the door, and he was mad at me for like a week after.
Oh yeah. I wish that's great.
All right.
That's great.
So yeah, RJ gets on the radio saying someone's missing from his boat, and he says someone. This is weird to me. He doesn't say Natalie Wood's missing. He just says someone's missing from my boat. A bunch of people are alarmed. They're like, "Someone's missing from a boat."
What is it? Guess who? Someone, and she's married to me. This person had an argument with me 2 nights ago that is still raging up until several hours ago.
Doug had to pull us apart 3 times tonight. This someone.
Doug hears this on the radio, and he's like, "Uh-oh, it's one of those fuck guys. I let them drive away on the boat." So him and his cook get on their boat, and they start looking around. Another guy named Paul.
This is crazy. The cast of characters here.
Another guy named Paul Wintler went to the Splendor to pick up RJ and Walken to bring him to shore to see if Natalie had decided to go back to shore again. Because that's what he was like. Well, last night she went home because it was raining. So maybe she just went back to the shore to go again. So he picks him up. Dinghy wasn't there. Dinghy's missing. So they figured that was probably where she went. At 2 a.m., Doug Bombard, the owner of Doug, so Doug himself, gets wind of the situation and calls the harbor master. This time, the harbor master goes out to the Splendor, convinces RJ to call the Coast Guard. RJ's super hammered, and he doesn't really want to, but he's convinced. And by 3:25, so this is like 5 hours later, they call the Coast Guard and inform them what's been going on. And it's rough waters, it's pitch black, not the greatest time to mount a full-blown search. So the search doesn't even start until about 6 a.m. Like I said, RJ'd been searching, but they didn't search the water. They went back to town. They look over the edge of the boat, didn't see or hear anything. So around 7:30 a.m., they find the dinghy in a cove about a mile away from where the yacht is. In daylight, it didn't take them long to find the Valiant, and it was empty. The oars were still in its place where they should be. The motor's in neutral, key position to off. It didn't look like anyone had actually attempted to turn it on at all. About a half hour later, helicopters flying in the sky find what looks like a red ball in the water. So one of the boats hears that they found this red ball, goes to search what it is. And the red ball was actually Natalie Wood's parka she'd been wearing to supper the previous night. And she was inside that parka.
Parka?
Yeah.
Where? I'm sorry. Where were they?
California. Catalina Island.
And she was in a parka?
That's how it's described. It's like a big heavy ass coat. But she's wearing a coat. The coat she was wearing.
And I guess, yeah, it could be cold on the water, but when I hear parka, I'm picturing like a puffy coat with like the fur-lined hood and everything.
It would be something to that extent. Like I could show you, but it's not a super winter jacket. What we'd consider a winter jacket. It's what like a Californian would consider a winter jacket. It is puffy, but it's small.
Well, you've chosen wrong words then, because
that's the words that it's described.
That's what I was picturing. They chose wrong.
Okay, but she's wearing that parka. She's wearing a flannel nightgown and wool socks. Officials now board.
All right, this is ridiculous because that. Are you gonna now tell me that flannel and wool aren't what I'm thinking? Come on.
No, she's wearing.
Sounds like she's fucking like. Did they also find her with a cup of hot cocoa in her hands? Like, what the
fuck? She was cold. It was cold night. It was raining and shit. It wasn't like a thunderstorm, but it was cold as shit for them.
They found the remnants of the small fire she built while drowning.
Actually, with her was a bottle of wine, an unopened bottle of wine that was supposedly for dinner that they just kept in her coat pocket.
They find it, and on it, the label just says Doug's, and he's just like, oh fuck, oh shit. How is this coming back to haunt me this much?
So officials now board the Splendor to inform RJ what happened. After hearing the news, he drops his head and exclaims, she's gone, like over-exaggerating the whole thing, like acting, let's say. Why? She's gone. Davern, the captain, hugs RJ, and RJ looks at him and says, can you go identify the body? I can't look. So Davern goes to the fucking body, identifies her as Natalie. This is when Christopher Walken pops out of his fucking cabin. It's like, what just happened? And they tell him what happens. He goes, oh no, like Christopher Walken style, just oh no a bunch of times. It all seems very like made up to me. Like it doesn't seem like a real reactions here, but that's just my opinion. All three are brought by boat to a nearby island. Like I said, Davern identifies the body. RJ heads back to Beverly Hills almost instantly to be with his kids. When he gets there, there's already authorities waiting to question him, and he speaks with them right away. He's too distraught to like give proper answers and stuff like that, so they decide to give him like a day or whatever, do a second interview.
Get his story straight.
Second interview he refuses to do without the presence of his attorney.
Okay.
November 30th, Dr. Thomas Noguchi, the deputy medical examiner of the LA Medical Examiner's Office, performs an autopsy on Wood. She had a big bruise measuring 4" by 1" spread over the lateral aspect of her right arm above the wrist. She had a big old bruise on her arm. The left wrist was a slight superficial flesh bruise, about a 1/2 inch in diameter. She had numerous small superficial skin bruises measuring approximately 1/2 to 1/2 inch in diameter scattered all around her lower legs. The left knee area showed a recent bruise measuring approximately 2 inches in diameter. The right ankle had a recent bruise measuring about 2 inches in diameter. There was a small superficial bruise on the posterior aspect of both lower legs, each
How
measuring
was
a
this
half.
ever ruled an accident? This
There-
is insane. That's way too many bruises.
So many bruises. So I'll tell you why in a second. So there's a vertical bruise.
It's that fucking parka. It was too heavy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. You'll see why. So there's a vertical bruise type abrasion on her left cheek. That was the only head wound. So she had a big bruise on her fucking face. No deep traumatic injuries to the skull. Just so many bruises. Now they say that Natalie was on medication that would make her easily bruisable. So she just had a bunch of bruises from her meds, which is true. Or is it? It could not be that. We'll talk about that in the theories.
I love picturing Robert Wagner though, when oh God, no, and she was so bruisable too. It's crazy how all parts of this story are covered. Oh, you go check it out, Captain. Anyway, don't talk to me without my lawyer. See you later. We're all good here.
So the parka she was wearing, when soaked, weighed about 30 to 40 pounds. That's very heavy, especially when trying to swim. That's the way the coroner thought she died. The jacket was too heavy. He calls it her killing jacket, which is fucked up. The killing jacket weighed her down and fucking murdered her. Oh my God.
So dump the parka.
Exactly. But coupled with the fact, he explains it away like coupled with the fact that she was drunk, she had a blood alcohol content of 0.14, which is drunk, but it's not like blackout, can't walk drunk. It's fucked up, but it's not fucked up. You know what I mean? Like 0.2 would be like.
But it might be like brown out, can't swim in a 40-pound parka drunk.
100%. Exactly. And that's what he's saying. So California at the time was 0.1. You could still drive. She was 0.14. So she's definitely over making poor decisions for sure. And keeping the jacket on would probably be one of them. She's cold. I'm not taking the jacket. I can swim through this. Literally, they say if she would have just taken the jacket off and even just gotten naked and swam, she probably could have grabbed onto the dinghy and gotten in. No problem.
Yeah.
The coroner gives his theory that Wood was trying to get in the dinghy, slipped into the water on her face, hence the bruising. And then when she tried to get into the dinghy with the jacket on, she couldn't do it, bruised up the rest of her body, just kicking, trying to get in. So it's a huge accident.
Sounds like it's all wrapping up into a nice, neat Wagner not implicated package. Just there we go. All the bases are covered.
This is what it's deemed as an accident, and the investigation comes to an end. Nobody looks into it further. Robert Wagner buries her in the next couple weeks. He's crying, kissing the casket as it's going into the ground.
We're doing it. We know you divorced before. There's got to be a little of that in you still.
Brainstorm is completed without Natalie had to be like written out of about 3 scenes, I think it was, and her sister Lana stood in for the rest of her scenes that weren't shot yet. Most of the major scenes were already shot. Film's dedicated to Natalie Wood with a dedication credit of to Natalie. The time that's missing between the 3 leaving dinner and when Natalie's body has been highly debated over the years. So let's hear the theories and
can I do
talk
one
about
thing?
it.
Can I
Yeah,
do one
sure.
quick aside?
Yeah.
This is why Hollywood fucking sucks and is so goddamn ghoulish. Have you watched Brainstorm? Anybody here watched it? Anybody ever gonna fucking watch that piece of shit? They didn't need to finish that fucking movie. Like they need to realize when sometimes they're like, maybe Brainstorm isn't worth it. It was like when fucking Baldwin, after his trial and everything, they're like, we're still gonna finish Rust. Like, why?
Crazy.
Why? There's no way it's good enough.
You want to hear I didn't include this in the script, but I did read up on this. I thought this exact same thing. So what they did was they're like, I don't know if we should finish this. It's already losing money. Like we're gonna have to recast, reshoot a bunch of shit. And then they decided they're gonna sell the rest of the movie to a different movie company. Like let's shop it. Let's see what happens. And every other movie studio is like, yeah, for sure we'll buy this. We'll just finish it because like there's dead Natalie Wood to this. People are going to want to watch this for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're ghouls. Because they're fucking ghouls.
Yeah, but MGM saw all the interest and like, nah, we'll just finish it. And then it tanked at the box office. Like they lost so much money because they decided they were going to make it anyway, which is fucking hilarious in itself.
Even the title sounds terrible. It just sounds like not worth watching. Brainstorm? Like what the fuck is that about?
It's about a Neuralink.
1981?
It's about a Neuralink. It's about putting your head in someone else's mind with a machine. Doesn't look good. It looks terrible. I could show you the trailer. It's absolutely trash.
Sounds like Possessor.
Yes, but terribly done. Like Possessor probably, but not good.
Yeah, because Possessor's great.
So, you guys got any theories before I tell you about the accident or the murder? Which side you guys could pick?
About Possessor?
Yeah.
My theory is that Sean, being such a good actor, he actually had his head wrenched apart with a fire poker.
Okay.
Checks
Good.
out.
Checks out. We can wait till the end. What you guys think? I could just tell you what the theories are now.
Okay. Sorry.
I
I
usually-
thought you were asking. Yeah.
I like to open it up before I give theories because sometimes like RJ or anybody else has bangers that I didn't even think of that are like really good, like fucking perfect. But this is either it was an accident or it was an accident. If it was an accident, who did it? Like there's not really much else you can really throw in there for a theory, but
Right.
tragic accident. So this theory actually goes into two sub theories that I don't think really matter at the end because it's an accident, but they both involve the dinghy. Let's talk about what Robert Wagner says happened that night. And everyone else that was on the ship.
Was that Robert Wagner's nickname?
RJ or Dinghy?
Yeah, it sounded like you were saying he was the dinghy.
Yeah. This is Wagner's story, along with Walken and Davern. This is their story about the accident. So,
Well, yeah, they had to get it straight.
well, at least at first, their stories diverge at a few points later on, like as the years pass. But anyways, we'll talk about that. So, Natalie, RJ, and Christopher Walken head back to the Splendor after dinner and continue to drink and do drugs. RJ never really says what drugs. Actually, I think Natasha Gregson in that documentary says that they're smoking weed. Whatever, it doesn't matter. As they're all having a good time, they do the big no-no thing, which the conversation turns into politics. Reagan would have been president at the time, so I can imagine Wagner being like, Reagan's the best president ever, and Walken just like, no, he's trash. And they get heated.
Why is that the lines that are drawn?
Because I feel like look at like RJ or sorry, Robert Wagner, and look at Walken. Wagner looks like the hard right guy.
Yeah, he seems like he's thrown a few hard RNs around.
Yeah, for
But so
sure.
does Walken. So does Walken.
They're of the age where they were. It's just one was more than the other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go the opposite. I say Wagner was a Carter fan. Thought he got a raw deal.
Yeah.
And Walken was like, let's see what Reagan's going to do, man. Let's just see if he got what it takes.
Maybe Natalie was the only Reagan fan and they drowned her.
That would be great.
be.
She was like, he is going to beat communism. Finally.
And they're like, you can't say that. Our secret communist cabal in Hollywood will never accept you again.
Throw her off the boat. Let that fill your red lungs, you fucking... No.
So they say they're talking about politics. RJ gets super heated about it. He tells Walken he doesn't know what he's talking about, and RJ smashes a wine bottle on the table. Glass goes everywhere, and he threatens him. Like, fuck you, you don't know what you're talking about. With a wine bottle smashed. That's crazy to me. I've never seen that happen in real life where someone gets so mad, and I've pissed people off a lot. Like, I've never gotten someone so mad they smashed a wine bottle. Never. So Walken looks at this. He goes, fuck this. I'm heading back to my room for the night. I don't need to be around you. You're too drunk. You're being an asshole. Natalie, same thing. She gets pissed at this exchange, goes back to her room. Okay? So this is where the different theories split off a little bit here on the accident. So Natalie just fell trying to get away, gets a piece of quiet from what's going on here. So she went off to bed, and then RJ stays drinking with Davern, cleaning up the smashed bottle. And I've also seen that he goes back and he follows her right away. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So Davern says he hears a commotion, doesn't think much of it. Couples fight. RJ heads to bed, a bottle of wine later, and notices that Natalie's not there. So he doesn't head to bed right away. They drink another bottle. He goes looking for her around the ship, can't find her, and he notices that the dinghy's gone. According to Wagner, Natalie loved the dinghy. According to me, she loved the dinghy. She's married 3 times. Am I right, boys? She wasn't a good swimmer, but she loved being on that dinghy.
Yeah. You really got her, Richard.
I know. Take that, you dumb bitch. Robert said that she would always take the dinghy out solo just to go like clear her head and just to be by herself. The fact that she had a bottle of wine with her when she was found. What's that?
What a setting up this. She always loved that dinghy.
That's what he said.
Go for hours on that dinghy in her heavy water absorbent parka. Just out there. Thinking about why even bother existing, stuff like that. What a sad story.
So
it's
yeah,
fucking crazy.
They found it with a bottle of wine. There's a full bottle of wine. So maybe she was just going out and bringing that dinghy out for a ride with a bottle of wine. Got to get away from my asshole husband. Keeps talking about politics.
She loved to hang out on the rickety staircase. Sometimes she would like to do activities on it. When the big guy wants you.
And then blah blah blah. That's the story. She went off on the. She tried to get off in the dinghy, slipped in the water, herself killed, and then her and the dinghy were found that next day. The whole story. Okay, that's his original story. The other story that comes up with is that she was just trying to go to bed, but the dinghy was attached to the yacht right where her bed was, and it just kept banging with the movement of the waves onto the side of the yacht. So it just kept hitting the side, and in the middle of the night, she just keeps hearing this bang. She can't go to sleep, so she's drunk. She's pissed off. All she wants to go to bed, but can't go to bed. There's all this knocking. So she knows how the dinghy works because she loves the dinghy so much. So she knows how to tie it down properly. So she doesn't want to ask fucking RJ. She's already pissed him. So she just goes out, puts on a parka. She's already in her flannel nightgown, puts on her like nice wool socks, kind of chilly out, goes out, tries to retie the dinghy so it's not banging on her, like beside her head outside. And she slips, falls when she's doing that. And the reason the bottle of wine's there is just it was in her pocket for dinner. She just forgot it there. And boom, falls in the ocean. She's dead that way. Accident. Whoops. Dinghy. Loud
Bam,
ass
boom.
annoying dinghy.
Bam, boom, Wagnerless crime.
No Wagner here.
No Wagner to be seen.
In 1997, Christopher Walken did an interview with Playboy where he talked about Natalie's death. Up until that point, he'd been never spoken publicly about it. If he did, it was always like, I don't like this conversation. This conversation annoys me. Move on. He would say shit like that. So his story was just the same as this. There was an annoying dinghy and it was slippery out there. It was a rainy night and she must have fallen out. He's like, I don't really know. I was asleep when it happened, but this is like the story that RJ's telling me and it's believable because I was there and I know it could have happened. So that's his story to Walken. So that's the accidents. It was whoopsie doozy. Fuck, I fell in the water. RJ had nothing to do with this. He was just drinking, smashing bottles. He wasn't mad at all. All right, so the next one's murder.
Yeah, sometimes you just do that. It's a very RJ thing to do.
The next theory is that it was murder and that she's pushed in the ocean by one of the people on the boat. We already talked about how it's probably, if anyone, it would be Wagner. I don't think anybody else on the boat really had. If they did, right off the top, before I get into this, I feel like if they would have just said, oh yeah, I accidentally threw off the boat and she drowned, they were famous enough at the time where they probably wouldn't have gotten in trouble anyway, if that's the case. So that's my only counter argument to the whole thing. They were to the point in fame where like, oopsie daisy would have gotten them like a slap on the wrist being famous. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, you can't put away the star of Brainstorm and that one show that's shot in Hawaii. You couldn't arrest those guys.
She's an Academy Award winning nominated she never won, but nominated actress. She's like,
yeah, she was real famous.
Yeah.
Like Wagner less so. Walken was on his way up, but I mean,
Wagner
I don't think so. I think if you say that we threw her in as a joke and she drowned, like there would be more. I'm not saying we would never have gotten any more Christopher Walken movies, but I think he might have done a couple years. I think he might have done a couple years for that.
Okay.
If they all admitted we threw this bitch in the water.
Okay. I think like fame would have like made it easier to get off is what I'm saying. Like they could have admitted to this.
The story though, with the backups, like the back parts of the story, they drank a bunch of wine at Doug's. And then fucking Wagner's walking around smashing bottles, yelling like a maniac. And he's like, yeah, but then we were all having a good prank war and I threw her in the water after I was visibly distraught to many witnesses. Like, it doesn't fly. Those cross-examinations are fucking bad for you, man.
For sure. Here's the evidence that goes along with the murder. That's not just, and I shouldn't say evidence, but here's the supporting factors to this, because more stuff came out over the years, and the reason they reopened it is real. So the obvious suspect, like I said, Robert Wagner. So in 2009, Captain Devon, with another guy, I'm guessing someone who can write a book, Marty Rulli, co-wrote Goodbye Natalie, Goodbye Splendor. This book describes the night of Natalie's death from Davern's perspective. And let's just say it's not exactly what he reported when they first talked to the cops. He admitted to lying to the cops in 1981 to protect his friend RJ. Davern says that most of the story is true. They go back to the Splendor. They do keep drinking. But Davern actually throws out there what drugs they're doing. He says they used to do many drugs, including Quaaludes, Adderall, as well as pot.
Nice.
And it was Natalie who was the party animal. The other ones were like RJ was kind of tame, more of the homebody of the whole thing. And she was getting fucked up that night. She was having fun. And then the story continues until the argument. And then he says that the argument between Wagner and Walker wasn't a political one. It was about Natalie. RJ thought that they were getting a little too close on the set of Brainstorm. Are you trying to fuck my wife there, Chris? Is that what you're trying to do? Then he smashes a fucking bottle on the table.
I do like this theory. It still points to Wagner, but I like this theory because I thought that the same thing. Everybody that was invited said no, and Walken's just like, I'll be there, or however he sounds. There's the look. I tried. I tried for you.
You did
to
it.
do an
You
impression.
did it.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was good.
Not bad.
So he shows up, and I'm like, I bet you that's the first thing Wagner's thinking. Like, all right,
sure.
what the fuck's going on, man? What are you doing?
Wagner, when he hears this story about it being jealousy from the book, he changes his story to the cops. Like, yes, it was about jealousy, but it wasn't about jealousy about me thinking you fucked my wife. He said that Natalie started talking about like the kids and how they're alone. It's the first time. It's very sad. Usually when you're working, I'm not, and vice versa. When I'm working, you're not. Right now, we're both away from them. It's kind of sad. And then he's like, yeah, you shouldn't have taken that job on Brainstorm. It's kind of fucking up our little arrangement with our kids. And Christopher Walken pipes in, like, to their argument, goes, yeah, you probably shouldn't be working because look at her career and look at yours. You're the one who should be staying home, not her. And then that's when he smashes the bottle and he gets mad and he says, fuck you, Walken, get the fuck out of here. And then she gets all pissed off, gets up and leaves and goes to bed. He follows
Those
her.
are justifiable bottle smashing comments, though. Sorry. I mean, you're going to come into a man's house, tell him that he shouldn't be working on his weird Hawaii show?
Should be telling
The
me
balls.
the balls of this guy. Walken also leaves. RJ decides to stay there and drink, is what he says, and he comes down. He comes down to his cabin where he finds Natalie having a smoke. Another argument ensues, and Davern hears it and tries to break them up. This is where he lied. He didn't. He just said he heard it before. This time he's actually there to try and break it up. RJ tells him to fuck off and mind his own business. You little captain piece of shit. Do you know who I am? I'm fucking Prince Valiant. Get the fuck out of here. Davern leaves, doesn't see what's going on. This is what Davern says, and this is where I don't believe Davern. Like, he was totally there whenever whatever happened beyond this, but he's like, I left, and then I don't know what happened after that. RJ informs him that Natalie's missing. He comes up, he goes, oh, Natalie fell over the edge. He wants to go looking for her. And RJ says, don't look for her. This will teach her a lesson. That's what he says to Davern. Davern says, can we turn on the spotlight and kind of like figure out where she is? He says, no, don't even bother. Yeah, that's all the detail he gives. And then he says, history's history. That's how it goes on beyond that. They call the whole story after that's true. So he told him, like, just let her go. And I guess when they start looking for her, they can't find her anymore. Oops, waited too long. Taught her a real good lesson.
Criminally negligent homicide, right? I mean, there's some charge there. There's some
For
depraved indifference or some such fancy legal thing.
It would,
You know?
if anything, it would be what do you call that? When you're part of it, like you didn't actually do it, but you're complicit. It would be a complicity of some sort.
Imagine that's your case to the jury, though, defending that. Look, you got to understand, Christopher Walken had just said that I should be the one not acting. So, of course, you're going to let your wife drown. Well, I don't understand. Like, you get me 12 people on a jury that don't agree with me on that one.
So, yeah, a lot of people don't think Davern is telling the whole truth, including myself, because Lana Wood, her sister, says that years later, Davern called her out of the blue and told her what he'd been, like, he was there when her sister went overboard. He says that RJ pushed his wife during their argument, knocking her off the edge of the boat. Davern goes to help her, but RJ says, leave her there, teach her a lesson. He said that part. And after a couple minutes, they go looking, they can't find her. Panic sets in for both of them. Maybe all three of them. Maybe like Walken was there too. I don't know. I'm guessing if he might have been in his cabin, not saw a thing, but he could have been standing there too. And he would be just as culpable as anybody else in this entire thing if he didn't do anything either. They're all doing drugs. They're all drinking. They got fucking Quaaludes on tables and shit. Probably Coke and everywhere. And if you're a psychopath famous person and don't want to go to jail to be Prince Valiant for some inmates, like you're going to lie. I can see that.
Prince Valiant. For some
I love it. You
inmates.
keep bringing this
Nice.
fucking roll up like any of the prisoners would be like, I know what you are, Prince Valiant.
Get the scissors, cut his hair. Cut his hair.
Yeah, bring
We
that
just-
pretty bowl cut over here.
But I also love how there's so many Quaaludes and like that isn't entered into one of the theories yet. That has to be like those are the things that make you not be able to swim, let alone in a parka. Like if she was the drug animal you were saying, right? So
That's what
she didn't-
Davern says. I'm just saying he's covering his ass. They were all fucked up, right? Like he's just trying to be like, see, she was really fucked up. Like, if she wasn't so fucked up, she would have been able to swim. It wasn't that big of a deal. That's why I didn't say anything. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. And it's like, yeah, it is. She died, dude. Like, is any of all this true? Like, any of this, the book, what Lana Wood says, any of that true? Does it hold any weight? Well, the case is reopened in 2011 because tips from random sources is what it says. And I'm guessing those random sources are Davern and Lana Wood. And then in 2013, they reclassify her death from accidental drowning to drowning with special circumstances. In 2018, police name, at the time, 87-year-old Robert Wagner as a person of interest in the case. That they opened 5 years before that, which I find that things are moving slow, but they're moving. And then in 2022...
Well, yeah, it's not at the top of the heap. There's like real active crimes that they probably want to get to. And
also,
not be like...
this one's 40 years old. You feel like you probably should get on that because most people that were involved are either dead or dying or like moved away or something.
I mean, imagine Robert Wagner at 87 just being like, fuck, fuck, this was done.
Guaranteed. 2022, the LA County Sheriff's Department clears Robert Wagner, but keeps her death a drowning with mysterious circumstances. I'm guessing he's still a person of interest. They just can't prove anything. And police do say like too much time's passed and a lot of witnesses are dead. So it's hard to litigate something or get through the court system, anything that's like that old. I would imagine memory is not, we've talked about this plenty of times in the past on the show, where memory is just you remembering a memory. Like, it's just remembering a memory over and over and over, and shit changes over time, especially over 40 years. Christopher, that's the end for Robert Wagner. Did Christopher Walken do this? He gets pissed about anybody who asks him about it. Walken could have done it. Maybe he was making advances to her after she left. He went down to like kind of get his little like finally my time, and she said no, and he kind of hucked her off the edge. I don't know. And they all covered for him. I don't know why they would do that.
I'm just saying, again, a stretch.
Very much so.
Stretch.
And the last one, the captain did it. There's really no evidence that the captain did it at all, except for him writing a book saying he didn't do it. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to write a book and be like, I didn't do it, guys, see, I wrote a book about it.
Well, yeah,
notoriously,
people who are super innocent write books about not doing the crime they did.
OJ did it.
Yeah, again, another famously innocent person.
Dude, I saw fucking such a great meme the other day that was if I had a time machine, I'd go back and tell OJ his wife was about to be murdered. Cracked me up so good. I was like, this is perfect. This is why memes were invented. Like, it's so good on so many levels. Like, because he wouldn't know that he was the one who was going to do it. That's perfect joke.
That's why he's hiding out in the back. That's why he always had all the shit on. Maybe someone did. And he just had all geared up to stop the guy. And then he saw her with another guy and he just lost it. And he had all the gear on already to prevent it. It's amazing. Robert Wagner chucking off the edge, or it was a huge accident, or unless you guys have I like your theory at first where he's Russian.
Can you find any more casual ways to say pushed his wife off of the edge of a boat and killed her? You've gone with Huck, Chuck. you got a toss in there.
Yeah.
How about yeet?
He yeeted her off the edge. Yeah, for sure. I should have said yeet. That would have been a good one.
Yeah, hucked is so funny. Just like a sack of potatoes, hucked her into the fucking...
Yeah.
That's what you do with trash. You huck trash.
My theory is it's either a complete misfortunate incident for, well, obviously her, but Wagner, where it's like, fuck, I was yelling and smashed a bottle and now she's gone and people are gonna think I did it, and now he's like, I need a lawyer and I'm gonna pretend to cry. I mean, that's what a lot of it sounds like. The way it went for him, like, that's possible that he was like, fuck, there's gonna be a lot of witnesses who saw me pretty out of hand last night.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Or he just tossed her. He just tucked her, chucked her, dumped her,
whipped her,
biffed her, just biffed her over.
Biffed is a good one. I haven't heard that one in a long time. Yeah, I don't buy for a minute that this was a super huge accident with this guy. It's just too much fucking going around, too much weird shit that it's involved with this, that it doesn't sound real. They changed their story too many times, and Walken's so mad about talking about it. This guy writes a book. I don't know. I would say he definitely unless they're Russian spies and Walken figured it out and they did a solve for America. That might be like I like that theory the most out of all of them because I didn't think of it. Either that or Wagner just lost his temper and fucking made the biggest mistake of his life and didn't want to admit to it. I don't know. Unless you guys have something else, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm leaning. Wagner.
Oh, I already told you. I think Christopher Walken did it just because I think he is genuinely innocent, and it's just funny to me to if we can just push the narrative that he's a murderer.
I think the whole reasoning he's like, I don't want to talk about it, and I don't want to talk. It's like, hey, probably just it's a pretty bad night. I'd want to get past that too. I wouldn't want to be every fucking question being like, hey, so that chick that drowned, what's going on? Oh,
yeah, that trauma you experienced. Yeah. What did you have to do with it? Look, man, he's a famous actor. Not everything can be good for you. We got to manufacture some stress for him.
For sure. When you watch that documentary, what Left Behind, it's totally a puff piece to like clear her dad's name because Natasha Gregson is like the narrator and she's like goes through the entire thing. But like he explains it when you're watching, because she talks to Wagner at an 80, I think it was in 2020 this came out. So he was 89, 90 years old and he tells his whole story and he just like brushes over the argument. He's just like, yeah, we're talking to got jealous and like smashed a bottle and like she was dead in like 5 minutes. And Natasha's just like, yeah, Daddy Wagner, like, yeah, cool. So it's like, it's even that didn't help the perception of like his guilt in my mind. It made it worse for me because I actually heard him tell the story and it's not in enough detail for like a thing to try and get you to not look guilty anymore. It makes you look worse. Like,
I mean, like, I agree with you in those terms, but also like, just like in the interest of like reality, like, is he not now like further away from the incident than like she was even living on the earth at that point?
Yes. She asks him, have you ever been back to Catalina Island? He's like, never, not once. Like, I feel like it's like, I didn't go back to the scene of the crime. I don't know. I just, if you ever watch this thing, and if any of the listeners watch this and they have the same thoughts,
how dare you be too hurt by a place where your wife died to never go back, you fucking coward.
It's just the way he says it. It's the way he says it. It's the way he like, I
believe you. I believe you. I have no interest in defending this human. I just
yeah, I find just like there's straight up motive there, and then there's a bunch of other bullshit surrounding it. That's enough for me. If he's 89 and forgetting details and doesn't want to go back to the scene of the crime, I don't look at those as being anything other than he's 89 and forgetting shit. And yeah, I really didn't want to go back to Catalina Island. Like,
I'm putting it out there. If anybody watches this and they have the same, like, I feel like it made him look more guilty by actually doing it, but I could be wrong. Like, maybe I'm just
the person in the documentary is just like, look at this, holding up the exact parka she drowned in. Like, he averted his eyes. He clearly did it. He couldn't even look at the parka that she drowned to death in.
That would be amazing because it was like her famous daughter who would be like accusing her grandpa of killing her mom or dad of killing her mom. It would be fucking amazing.
Can you believe my father shut the door to his room after this hyper-realistic AI representation of my mother's bloated corpse?
She just has all the photos on the table in front of him. Look at them, Dad. Look at them. Yeah. So what do you you think it's Walken because it's funny. Okay. I'm down with that. I actually think it's RJ who fucking did it for sure. There's no way he didn't, in my opinion. And Nick thinks that you think.
Look, I think Wagner it's literally a coin flip. But not quite. So I'll go like 60-40. 60%, I think Wagner did it. 40%, I think it was an accident. I don't think anybody else there could have been involved, but I think there's enough to lean towards motherfucker probably did it. But also, she could have fallen in. Like,
that's why no one will ever figure this out because you're right. There's so much. Like, it could happen. That's the thing. It's like it's plausible. It's not. Yeah. It's not like it doesn't sound real, but it could be. It could be.
Biffed or tripped. Who knows?
She was fucking biffed for sure. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
Now you know about Natalie Wood. You can.
It's so funny because all I knew about the story going into it was, yeah, she drowned and Walken was there and another actor that then I was like, oh, okay, so Wagner. Okay, so that's the guy. But even after this entire thing, I don't know anymore. I know that she like it really. I know it's a true story, true crime thing, but it's like, yeah, I know nobody knows. Nothing is really.
Yeah, this is all mystery. The whole show's mystery, so it's fun that it's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's not even a mystery anymore because I don't know what we're picking, but I think we should just go with she was a Russian spy and they did it because I think that's the funniest outcome, and I hope that's true. So it's solved now. She was a Russian spy, and she was killed by Walken.
Wagner and Walken did what was good for the United States of America. An eagle flew over as they hucked her.
Yeah.
Over the side.
They lobbed her over the edge.
And they passionately open mouth kissed like any red-blooded Americans would do after murdering a woman.
Like, pan out with them making out, and that's the end of
Yeah.
the cut scene. That's the end. The end. For Natalie.
Brainstorm.
Two Natalie.
Yeah.
That's how I'm ending the episode.
I just watched Private Dicks, and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.